Hi, dreamers. I'm Percival,
And I'm Vivian.
and we are your hosts of the Dreamscape Chronicles.
If you would like to share a story for us to tell or come on the show and share it yourself, we welcome all dreamers to contact us at dreamscapechronicles@outlook.com. Our Patreon is now live. Just search the Dreamscape Chronicles. We will also be putting a link in our show notes to make it easier to find. It's only $1 for Discord access, so you can join our growing community by chatting about the show, voting on polls, and sharing stories with others like yourself. Soon we will be moving our special episodes and witching hour segments over to Patreon. At a higher tier, you will have access to our personal stories and more of our special episodes. But if you are looking for more content like that, Patreon is where you will find them. Now back to our regularly scheduled broadcast.
Welcome back, dreamers. We're back with episode 23, and I'm really excited about today's guest. He's been a supporter of the show from the very beginning, a good friend of mine, and the owner of Sacred Flux. Please welcome back to the show from our previous witching hour. It's Eric.
Eric. Welcome.
Yes, thank you. Sorry. I was waiting for more. I'm used to listening to you guys. Sorry. Thank you for having me on again.
We're glad to have you back.
For sure, man. Anytime. So we know that you're the owner of Sacred Flux. So why don't we start by you just kind of telling us about your business and what it's about?
Yes. So that is something that I started up probably about 3 years ago now. So basically, my focus is primarily as a Reiki practitioner. And on Sacred Flux, what I offer is various types of Reiki sessions, as well as sound therapy and a little bit of guided meditation. That's just really where my expertise lies, and I feel that all of those are very complementary to each other.
Very nice. So tell us, Eric, you hear a lot about Reiki being a practice or a concept or a religion. Tell us in your words, what is Reiki?
So Reiki is basically, and not even in my words, I think it's best described as, Reiki means universal life force energy. Rei, which is universal, and ki, which I'm sure everyone's heard that before, that means energy.
Mm-hmm.
Reiki is this energy that is all around us. It's in every place that you can look. It's everywhere in the universe. It's responsible for many, many, many things. And so first and foremost, I think something that is very important to know is that the practice of Reiki is not a religion. It is a spiritual, energetic practice. It is a healing modality. So I know there's a lot of confusion with that because some people sort of get it mixed up with maybe in some religions where you hear about hands-on healing and things like that. I and any other practitioner, we're not giving our energy away. We're basically just a conduit where we transfer this energy that's all around us and sort of give it to you. And then it does whatever it needs to do. This is, and I think that's important to notice, the difference between healing and cure. Reiki isn't a cure for anything. And as a matter of fact, it's complementary to medical care and never to be a replacement. So go over a little bit of the history and what a session looks like, and even go as far as to maybe explain some of the benefits that you get, especially with like sleep, because that's something that we're all interested in and something that I kind of have a hard time with lately.
Yeah, I think we all do, for sure.
Perfect.
Yeah, I know Reiki isn't super new, but it's not as old as many would assume. Is that kind of where we're starting?
Yeah, so Reiki in the grand scheme of things, as we know it, it's relatively new. It's roughly 103 years old now. It was
Mm.
founded by Mikao Usui. It happened after a meditation and a fasting retreat that he went on Mount Karuma. He was a devoted student to many different traditions, including Buddhism and Shintoism, and he spent many, many years seeking a method for both physical and spiritual healing. He undertook an extensive 21-day meditation and fasting retreat. This mountain's kind of like, it's a very revered mountain near Kyoto.
Okay.
So, this 21-day retreat, on the final day, he experienced a really profound spiritual awakening. It's kind of described as what we know as enlightenment or satori. During this time, he saw sacred symbols and felt a bright light descend. It was filling him with this vitality and this universal energy.
Mm.
Um, he realized that he'd received what we know as an attunement, a direct connection to the universal life force that granted him the ability to channel this healing energy without using his own. So he started showing this to his close family. And once he realized how beneficial this was, he just felt really compelled to share this gift with as many people as he could instead of keeping it to himself. He went on and established the first Reiki clinic and school in Harajuku, Tokyo. I think that was, say, 1922. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, somewhere in that. But he began to teach that openly. So that was what was really cool. Like people could come and it started expanding from that. Um, so, I mean, his goal was to provide a method for others to experience the same force that he did to enable both that self-healing and to be able to heal others, ultimately to help people move towards enlightenment. So, yeah, I think that is super cool.
That is very intriguing. That's very, very cool that he was philanthropic and wanted to share it.
Mm.
Right. I think it's so interesting that he kind of received knowledge from a light being or something. That's
Yeah.
you hear that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, the light, there's that one common thread, I think, that's in all of them. And, we receive this knowledge from some source, and it's usually, has something to do with a light.
Right. It's
Mhm.
like a cosmic download.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, how did it go from Japan to trending in the US? Like how did it move all the way west?
So, that comes down to so after Usui basically created the technique, he passed it down. He taught basically his first student, who was Shuichiro Hayashi. And then from there, so that was his second master student. And then it went from there to Miss Hawayo Takata, which is really interesting because as far as this goes, she was the first woman to be taught and to kind of bring it to other people. And
Wow.
she introduced Reiki into Hawaii at about 1930.
Oh,
So
wow.
before this, yeah. So before this, basically, Reiki, from my understanding, was basically, strictly an oral tradition. It was taught to you and it was taught to you freely because it was knowledge that, they wanted to get out there. And
Yeah.
so Miss Takata found that people in the Western world didn't give it the respect that it deserved unless they were charged monetarily for it. And they thought it kind of hokey, and it just wasn't until she started charging them. And so during that time in the 1930s, she was charging roughly $10,000.
Oh wow.
Oh
And
my
so,
gosh.
yeah, I'm not sure what that is in today's dollars, But 10,000 is 10,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite a bit.
Yeah. That's what got it moved over here into the Western audience. And I mean, apparently she knew what she was talking about because, wow, that's a long way for an oral tradition of especially like spirituality that's only 103 years old. Like, that seems fast for it to travel.
Right.
No kidding. Well, and it's funny that she had to embrace something that her community was almost against, charging for that knowledge just to get the outcome they were looking for, which is that knowledge doesn't disappear. It's still going because of the measures she took.
Right. Well, not only that, shortly after that, we're looking at World War II. So then
Mm.
Right.
I'm pretty sure they're going to have to, that would have been scrutinized during that time also. So
Yeah.
it survived that. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Well, Reiki's much more complex than I previously assumed. As far as your own knowledge of the practice goes, how experienced are you at Reiki?
So me, I am what's known as an Okuden or a level 2 practitioner. So there are 3 levels in this modality. And level 1 is also known as Shoden. That focuses on self-healing and treating others through touch. That is the foundation of Reiki. Like, this is the level, honestly, that a lot of people go into and they stop because they get the benefits from it and they're just like, okay, I can see where this is helpful. And then there are people that want more, or they want to really share this experience with someone else and they want to bring a little bit of, healing into the world.
Mm.
And that would be where I'm at. I wanted definitely to share this with everyone else, and that's where my current experience is at. However, this is the one that introduces, I don't know why, however, but this is where we get the introduction to the symbols that are a foundation of Reiki. These are the symbols that Usui Sensei saw on Mount Karuma. Um,
Mm.
so also introduces us to distance healing and Reiki through time, which is a very interesting concept. Sending energy back to, say, past trauma,
Mm.
or sending energy forward to our future selves, our future situations.
Oh, wow. That's an interesting concept.
It's very, very cool. Um, And so then you have a level 3, which is considered a master or a shinpenden. This is where you are deepening your connection to the practice. You learn the final symbol, which I've done my best to avoid learning and seeing what this symbol is. I really went into all of this almost blindly. So I feel like that's the way that it almost should have been done because I would have had no prior knowledge to this. Someone would have had to tell me.
Right.
Um, this also gives you the ability to teach and attune others, so to bring them into Reiki. So each level expands on the practitioner's capacity to kind of focus your intention and shift these stress states in yourself and others. These attunements open a deeper channel. Awakening inner gifts and raising consciousness is really the 2 ways we can explain this. Um, the attunements are a sacred process where a teacher opens the student's channels to the Reiki energy. And this is something that anyone can learn. My teacher has very young students that, like, their parents may come to a session and the child is interested. So, you know, the child starts learning Reiki, like gets attuned to it. And it's just really, there should be no, whatever your age, wherever you're from, like this isn't, again, this isn't tied to any religion or dogma. Like, it's open for everyone.
There should be no restriction.
Mm.
I get that. That's kind of beautiful, actually.
So, with it being a practice, I'm sure people, I mean, I know that there's people out there who think negatively, like this is another form of like magic that people shouldn't do. Do you think that people could potentially use that negatively?
No, there is no possible way that you could use Reiki in a negative sense. Like there is no, it's, I don't really know a good way to describe it. It's just, there's no, the energy doesn't work in that way.
Okay.
I don't know of a better way to say it, but I've heard many people that, they try to take that angle with it because they are genuinely concerned. And the best thing that I can say is you just would have to experience a Reiki session for yourself to know when you feel that energy, you know that it's not malevolent or there's no negativity that can come from it.
Right.
So you brought this up a little earlier too, experiencing a Reiki session if you've never been through one. I've never done a Reiki session, but if I decided to try it, what could I expect? Can you explain what you would typically
Absolutely.
have going on in a session?
Yeah, absolutely. So, like, every practitioner has a different kind of style. But for the most part, if you are going to someone who's in the traditional lineage, a session is going to last typically from 45 to 60 minutes. If you're doing a full traditional session where we're scanning the body and all of this, but it doesn't have to be that long. You can work with your practitioner to really kind of dial in the time. But generally speaking, if you're doing a full session, it's about 45 to 60 minutes.
Okay.
For me, I tend to visit, I kind of travel a little bit. So I go to my client because it usually makes them much more comfortable to be in their
Mm.
own space. So the client remains fully clothed. You're lying down or seated comfortably. I have a massage table where you would just lay down on and relax, and a nice, if you have a blanket or a personal pillow or whatever, just to be comfortable. So there's two ways that we can do this, and one, there's hands on and there's hands off. Either way is totally fine. Some people are just not okay with physical touch. Reiki still does what it needs to do without my hands ever touching you.
Mm.
So my hands would basically go just above the body, and I'm moving through different positions along all of the energy centers, which we call chakras, and move along these areas of imbalance. It's going to be a nice, quiet environment. Sometimes I will light some incense and I will have some audio playing. I like to kind of do a little conversation before our session, and I'll kind of see where you're at and just kind of get an idea for what type of music you want and just kind of create some little atmospheric vibes for the
Yeah.
session. Yeah.
Relaxation space.
Yes. And what's cool is like, there's many different, I've built sort of going out and recording, I've built up a sound bank of all these different birds and things like that. And what's cool is that sometimes I have people that are like, oh my God, that's a such and such bird. And I'm like, oh, I have no idea. But it resonates with them for for whatever reason. So it's pretty cool. So it's like, I didn't intend to do that, but it just happened.
That's pretty
Um,
awesome.
yeah. So some of the things that you may experience during a session, sometimes I have people that will report that they have this warmth or a tingling, kind of like waves of energy. Some
Mm.
people even see colors. Some people will have an emotional release. They'll get very, very weepy. Sometimes they laugh. And some people just simply fall asleep. Uh, there's no right or wrong thing that you should feel just because your body is going through a very relaxing state. Now, to also say there is what's known as distance Reiki. We kind of talked about that. And level two, that's done without physical presence.
I was
I
going
don't
to
have
ask
to
you
be
about that.
there. Yeah. So this one is a little more, I'll be the first to tell you, I am the biggest skeptic of what I'm doing. The only reason that I'm doing this is because I've seen results with it. And so it's one of those things where I understand how it sounds. Like I will be the first to tell you, the biggest skeptic. But having been someone who has received distance Reiki and being someone who has sent it to someone, trusting the process and knowing that it works, I've never felt that more than with this. It's really, it's fascinating. And, I've had clients describe the same sensations as they would as if they were in person. So, yeah, it's very interesting. Reiki has been studied in relation to reduced pain, lower blood pressure, improved mood, and to promote a better immune function.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so Reiki aligns the energy body, opening pathways for spiritual growth, clarity, and deeper presence.
It sounds like pretty much anyone could benefit from a session.
Yes. Like it's really one of those things because what we're doing is we are we're relaxing that parasympathetic nervous system, that rest and digest.
Mm,
So when we're in that state, I mean, who wouldn't be able to benefit from just completely shutting off for a little bit, you know?
yeah. No kidding, though. Sometimes I feel like the only way we can really relax is we're like, get our chores done quickly and then we can just rot in bed.
Yeah.
There was something interesting you said, and I think trusting in the process, like you were saying, I think a
Mm.
lot of this stuff, depending on, well, I mean, across most of these practices that I've talked to people that they have, that the power of belief is probably the most important thing behind any kind of like spiritual practice or even any esoteric kind of stuff. Like it's, if you don't believe in the process, you're not gonna ever see any results.
Or even like intention. Like you
Right.
have to have the intention behind it.
Agreed. Yes, intention. That is that was the word that I was waiting to hear. Like, man, it really is just that. I feel that like if you set out with that good intention, like that's just really what it boils down to. If not, you're just going through the motions.
Like that's potentially why having bad intentions would not really work with Reiki because the whole point is you're manipulating that energy. So if you are poorly intended already, then you're not manipulating anything. Nothing is flowing.
Right. And see, that's another thing that's important is that when I'm a conduit for this energy, I'm not pushing it to one particular place. I'm not saying, "Oh, well, I think it needs to be up here at the crown chakra," or "I
Mm.
think it needs to be at the feet." And what? No, Reiki is going to go to wherever it's needed because maybe someone comes to me and they're talking about how they have these migraines and they're explaining to me just how bad they are and they're like, can we spend more time here? It may not be the head that is the problem. It may
Mm.
be just tension from their lower back because they have, a pulled muscle that's going on that's in turn giving them a migraine. Or it could be their back pain is not because of a pulled muscle. It may be because of the stress that they're under at work. You see, like
Yeah.
we may think we know what's wrong, but we really,
I imagine visually it kind of looks like filling an ice tray. You know, you can run the water under one section and keep filling that one square, that one cube space over and over and over again, but if it's full, it doesn't matter. The water's going to run where it goes, like where it needs to be.
that is a really good analogy for that. I'm taking that. I'm taking
Please do.
Mhm.
it. Yeah. No, that's a really good. And you're
Yeah.
exactly right.
Very cool. Very cool. So, I want to go back to another thing that you mentioned earlier because I think
Mm,
many people can relate to sleep problems and stress, and finding time to relax seems to be the adult equivalent to an Easter egg hunt. Can you tell us a little bit more about how Reiki can help with some of those common struggles that so many people have?
yes. So Like I said, Reiki helps to activate the parasympathetic nervous system, that rest and digest. This is going to lower stress hormones like cortisol. This
Mm.
reduces your heart rate and it promotes physical relaxation. This calms the mind, helps release emotional energy carried through the day, and eases that mental chatter right before bed. Um, Self Reiki for sleep, you don't have to do a full session for this. Basically, we would go through a few of the hand sessions. What I find that works for me, placing the hands gently on the head. Next, we move to the heart. We move to the abdomen, and we set our intentions with the fact that we want to get a decent night's sleep, a good night's sleep. Heck, even go far and say a great night's sleep because that's what we deserve. So, what I find is that I usually, and this is just something that I'm noticing, maybe someone else does too, um, but I do get a more restorative sleep, and I'll never go through. I don't think I've yet to make it through an entire session before I fall asleep. I'll always stop at a random hand position. And I've noticed a correlation with it's very hard to remember this though. It's like trying to remember your dreams, if you don't write them down fast enough,
Mm.
you're gonna forget. And I try to remember, I'm like, did I did I stop at where did I stop? And sometimes I know that I need to focus more in that area of my life because our chakras are attuned to different aspects of our life, not just the physical body. So
Right.
I have noticed a slight increase in my sort of I don't want to say meaningful dreams, but I will remember like bigger dream signs. You know how sometimes you sort of search for like, well, red was a reoccurring theme,
Mm.
or you try to think of what stood out the most. Well, when I've went through sort of my partial Reiki sleep session, it seems like those dream symbols are so much stronger. It's like, oh no, that was a gold elephant, or oh god, that was like it is something massive that you can't miss it.
Right. It's more obvious in your face.
Yes,
More vivid too,
yes,
it seems.
Mm.
Yeah.
yeah. There's never a guess as to whether or not it was a dream sign.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, we've been doing a lot of research on some stuff like that about certain dream recall stuff, like where those signs are very,
Symbology.
very apparent.
Yeah.
So, Eric, is there anything that we missed or we didn't hit on that you wanted to add or share with us about Reiki?
Well, like I said, I just want to reiterate that, before I'd kind of went into this, I just really just kind of stumbled upon this on a whim based off of, I just happened to be at the right place at the right time. I was having a sound bath, and that's how I met my teacher who brought me into this. I was like, I have to learn more. And hopefully soon I will be level 3 and I'll be able to start bringing people into Reiki. I am on my lineage here. Will be bringing a bunch of 11s, like I'm the 10th in line from my lineage that's connected. And
Oh,
so I'll
wow.
be bringing a bunch of 11s, and which is neat because 11 is my absolute favorite number. So it's pretty cool.
It's meant to
um,
be.
Yeah.
yeah, it's very, very interesting. Again, and I think that maybe, go and get a book. Go find there's a lot more books on Reiki nowadays. Or if you're interested in this at all, just take a moment and read. I have some information on my website that's going to be sacredflux.com. And that's where you can find a little bit more of the history and diving into where it came from. You can read a little bit more about my history, how I stumbled on it and my experience with Reiki before I even knew what Reiki was, where I also offer some distance sessions and a lot of we're working on getting some free sound bath sessions for you. So there'll be like 15-minute crystal bowl sessions that you can listen to on YouTube. Make sure you're using headphones, please. But we're going to give those out for free just because I know there's a lot of people that I can't reach. So getting some high quality audio out there for chakra balancing or just general relaxation.
Very nice.
And I'd also like to mention, because I know, again, like I said, biggest skeptic here, but just to sort of anyone who's experienced it doesn't need the doesn't need the qualifiers, but I just want to add that there's more than 800 hospitals in the United States that offer Reiki as a complementary therapy. With the American Hospital Association survey identifying it as one of the top 3 inpatient therapies.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
I'm not going to list all of them. I could have compiled a big list for you, but some notable names right off the top: John Hopkins Hospital and Health System. Okay. They offer Reiki as their integrative medicine program. The Mayo
Okay.
Clinic, they provide Reiki as a complementary therapy to help patients manage systems. There are, it, it's a very interesting to note that there are so many different hospitals out there that are offering this as, again, a complementary treatment to help along the process.
Yeah. I can imagine it does its job well too. I mean, you have to be in that relaxation state anyway to be in a
Mhm.
recovery state. So they kind of work right alongside each
Yep.
other.
Yep. Absolutely.
That's awesome.
All right. Well, this has been very eye opening or third eye opening. Eric, if there are any other folks at home who listen and have questions for you or are interested in setting up in a session, where could they best reach you? Would they go to your website and there's a way to contact you there?
Absolutely. Yep. You can go to the website to contact me. I've got my email address there. I've actually got a set up to where if you contact the live chat, it's going to alert me at any time of day. Or I'm trying to be a little bit more active on, on the Dreamscape Chronicles Discord. So
Yes.
if you see me on here, just shoot a note and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Because, like I said, there's a ton of information out there. There are a ton of different offshoots of Reiki. All of them are fantastic. I just know about the Usui method, though. I believe they all deserve their place. But if you want any any knowledge on that one, I can definitely give it to you.
I gotcha.
Okay, pretty cool. Yeah, we'll link all that stuff in our show notes so people can find you if they're not part of the Discord for sure.
For sure.
Awesome.
Yeah. It seems Reiki is definitely gaining acceptance a lot faster than most health movements.
I think that's fair to say.
It'll be interesting. I can't wait to. I'm going to go on your website and see what you have on there and try it out for myself. I'm a little nervous, but I don't know
Abs-
why.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, look, hey, we can even do what I would like to do is I would really like to offer a distance session to anybody who, man, let me see. I'll have to get something put together and maybe we can put it in the show notes or we can put it on. Uh, we can offer a coupon code for a free distance Reiki session.
Okay.
I'm down. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
I think that might be doable.
Yeah, figure out what you want to do and we can add that in. We'll make sure and pop that in there.
Absolutely. Well, I want to thank you guys again for having me on. It's been great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've had fun having you on the last time and this time, and hopefully you'll be back soon.
Yeah, we
For
appreciate you coming
sure.
back on. It's always a fun conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You guys have definitely inspired me. You'll have to anyone who's visiting the website, keep a lookout. There may be a podcast in the near future. I don't know, so we'll have to wait and see.
Ooh. I'm excited.
Yep.
That'll be cool. We're going to have to follow up with you on that one.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Eric, so much for coming again. And we will be linking all of the show notes for Eric's website to Sacred Flux, along with any other information that he has for us to link as resources. We want to thank all of our supporters and fellow podcasters who allow us to promote our show on their platforms, and especially all of our Patreon supporters who help keep the show growing. We've been toying with some ideas to integrate into the show for a more interactive experience for all of our listeners. So stay tuned and we will keep you updated on those additions to come.
If you're loving the strange, surreal, and supernatural, don't forget to follow us on all the social medias. Patreon is live, and it's only $1 to join the conversation on Discord, so get in there and start talking. We're also on YouTube, and make sure you check out Instagram for the occasional creepy video and to see the full cover art to each episode. Like, follow, share, and don't forget to email us your stories and experiences to be featured on the show. Tag us, message us, or drop a comment. This is your space to share the wildest corners of your subconscious. We're building a community, and you're part of it. Thanks for listening as we dive deeper into the dream world with you all. Until next time, dreamers, keep dreaming and
Join us in discovering what may lie beyond the walls of sleep.